unfortunately, that's a sign, I think, of a fighter who's at the finish of his career.
Pro boxing fans, here with Adam Smith. It is the day after the big one, let's call it. Let's run through that. First of all, how are you? How are you feeling? How's things?
Yeah, really, really great night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the whole week, actually, and to have spent so much time with both Frank and Eddie over the years, and to see this sort of surreal competition that happened. But a great idea, fantastic, innovative stuff from Turkey and his team. Just more entertainment and more eyeballs on the sport. Something very different, very unique about it. Darren Barker said it's like the Ryder Cup, isn't it, with the two teams and the camaraderie, seeing big Zhilei Zhang next to Nick Ball and Willie Hutchinson crying, and the outfits of Ammo Williams. It was all great, and of course right at the epicenter, the deep rivalry between Frank and Eddie. So while it was sort of bizarre last year seeing them together at a press conference and shaking hands for the first time, a time I'd never thought I'd see, then suddenly they come against each other with a great idea and some top fighters and 50-50 fights, and I thought it was a wonderful night. I thought it went off really well, and I really enjoyed every minute of it. I was dotted around at different places on the press row. I was up in the studio for Talk Sport back at ringside, so I saw it from different angles, and it was brilliant. So many stories came out of it, and of course a 10-0 thrashing for Queensberry, and for a win for Frank, a massive win for Frank, and I've seen all the fun and games they've had on the plane and all the stuff. It's great. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek now, of course, because they're working together to make boxing better. That's what Turkey wants to do, is put on the great fights and pay the fighters this huge money, and the fans are all benefiting from having the great contest that we've always wanted. So especially at heavyweight, the glamour division. So it was. It's brilliant. I've loved it. Love coming out here. People are charming, and I think it's only going to get bigger and better.
Let's talk about the main event, Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang. Talk to me about this one. Look, we saw what Deontay tried to sort of let the right hand go. Probably didn't let it go as much as he probably wanted to, and Zhang took him out in a brutal fashion. What did you make of that performance from Zhang and from Wilder?
Two ways of looking at that. First of all, Zhilei Zhang, great victory, crowned off a wonderful night for Frank and Queensberry, 10-0, and the icing on the cake, I guess. And for him personally, brilliant the way he came back from the Parker defeat. I thought he gave it away against Joe. He was in control and he just sort of went to sleep. But it's a little bit lighter this time, and Zhilei did the right thing. So a great win for him. Big audience and possibilities in China, and I love the fact that he's around the scene. It was great, his reaction at the post-fight press conference, and with Big Bang and all of that. It was fabulous. But a very sad sight to see Deontay Wilder perform like that. Deontay, I've been very close to over the years. He's been one of the great fighters of our generation. Maybe not a great fighter, maybe that's the wrong phrase, but one of the great characters and knockout artists. Certainly one of the better heavyweights, world champion for a long time, in fabulous fights. But I think what I've loved about Deontay is his personality, and also his bone-crushing power, a like of which we haven't seen much in the modern generation. They can all punch, of course, heavyweights, but Deontay had something spectacular in his right hand, and I witnessed it many times from ringside. So that's what I've got from Deontay over the years, and we all wanted to see the AJ fight. However, he was really poor against Joe Parker last time, and you wondered whether the trilogy may have taken something out of him. The Fury fight, so hard. Was it just that a piece of him was sort of taken out almost? And father time catching up with him. He's not young. He's been around a long time now, and then of course the rally cries, the bomb squad, Eddie's captain. It all sort of gets going again. But was it slightly I wouldn't say delusional, but it was slightly sort of overhyped? How good did he feel? It's one thing feeling great in training, but he came in really light, and on the night he looked to me as though his legs weren't quite right, the balance was gone, the timing wasn't there, he was cocking the right hand but not throwing it properly. For me, felt a little bit gun shy and just lacking confidence and just not really there. And unfortunately, that's a sign, I think, of a fighter who's at the finish of his career. Look, it's not our job to tell anyone or encourage anyone to do what they do or can't do in boxing and retire. If it's up to him, that's up to him, and he does that. If he does, it's been an amazing career. But what I did see, I thought was really sad, because I've seen so many great Deontay Wilder moments, and I thought I was watching a shell of a fighter, and it was really sad to see, because he's done so much for the sport. So look, he's got a great guy with him in Malik Scott, who knows the business inside and out. He'll go back to his family. Shelley Finkel has been there from the beginning. There are amazing people that have been around Deontay, and he's made a ton of money, and I'm sure he's got a lot of other ventures that he wants to get into in the world. I know he's a great scuba diver, rare fact, but there's all sorts of things that Deontay can do now, I think, and I'd love to see him inspire young kids to come through and really use his name. But for me, that looked like a career finishing fight. It was sad to see. So as happy as I was for Zhilei Zhang, it was really disappointing. Not disappointing, upsetting. And I've been through so many great moments with Deontay, and I guess they were thinking maybe they'd get the AJ Wilder fight, maybe they'd have one more chance with it after what happened with Parker. AJ did his bit against Wallin, it didn't work out. But then after last night, and of course he was in with a very, very good opponent in Zhilei Zhang, but you've got to wonder whether we'll see Deontay Wilder in the ring again.
And going off that, and you've sort of alluded to it, in that is that them 3 fights with Tyson Fury, firstly, how much did they take? Do you believe that they've taken out of Deontay? Because prior to that, he was everything that everyone expected and more, with his right hand and the power that he carries. But how much did they take out with him, and how much does that do for Fury's sort of resume and legacy for what he's done possibly to Deontay Wilder's career?
Father Time catches up with everybody. It's about when to go, I guess. It's so hard for fighters. They're so dedicated and drilled to what they do. It's what they know. There's so much pride as well. It's not just a money thing, and Deontay's made millions and millions, but it's also a pride thing for themselves. It was a unbelievable trilogy, wasn't it? One of the great trilogies. We've had Ali, Frazier, Bo Holyfield's, the lighter weights like Barrera and Morales, loads of great trilogies over the years. But that was, in the modern era, a fabulous one. And look, both men getting knocked down times. The second fight was such a destruction from Fury. It was, I thought, one of the great fighters, one of the great wins away from British soil for any of our fighters that I've seen covering the sport. I thought it was a great moment for British sport, that Tyson Fury beating Wilder on the second time. The third fight was epic. I think it must have taken a little bit out of both fighters. I mean, remember Fury against Ngannou, he was so poor. He was much better against Alexander Usyk, but didn't win. Now he's got the big rematch, and you hope he can get himself back and attempt to exact revenge on Alexander Usyk. But these big fights take a lot out of you. We all want to see, at a lower level, at British level, we all want to see Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark go at it again. They probably do. We as fans do. But if they do that again, the careers are going to be, they may be shorter, because it's a lot to ask fighters to go to the well, once, twice, 3 times, but again and again. And I don't think Wilder didn't have to go to the well last night. He just wasn't good enough, and was just outmaneuvered, outpushed, outboxed, outclassed, and knocked out. And it was just a pretty sad sight. That's the difficulty with it all. But as I said, Deontay's been amazing for the sport. I don't know what he said, maybe you know afterwards. I don't know if he hinted at retirement. I think Maddox Scott said if he doesn't win before the fight, he said he'd expect that to happen. So I don't know if you know anything that I don't, but that would be the direction I think the team would take him.